All right, everybody, welcome to the Studying Brew, episode 1088 on this beautiful Wednesday evening. It is a Wednesday. That means Brandy is going to do Workshop Wednesday. Yeah, that's what I should call it. Workshop Wednesday. What do we do on Workshop Wednesday? It is the foundation of the techniques, the strategies, the stuff that we show you how to pass these exams. So if you're like, man, I feel like I'm missing out on what and how these people know these techniques, is Mona's and all this other stuff. Brandy's going to put some questions up on the screen that don't even have to do with securities. So that way you get the concept, the basic knowledge on how we do these techniques, these tips, all these little things that help you out and get an extra edge. Because guys, sometimes we get caught up in the securities of it all, and then that's all we can focus on. I know that when we put securities questions up, people get so caught up on answering the question the same old dang way they always have done it, and they're not learning anything new. You know how some people are they're just so stubborn like that. They're just like, well, I'm just gonna because that's how I do it. Look, we're trying to learn something new here, trying to get an extra edge on this. We're trying to do something you haven't been able to do yet. We're trying to get some licenses that are a little bit harder to get than what you probably used to, or some of you never even studied this hard in your life. Look, these are little things that'll help you get that pass notice that you've been trying hard to get, that little bit, that little extra push, that edge, that nudge, the little thing that helps you go from a 69% to maybe a 71 or 72%. Who knows? If it even works 5% of the time, it's going to help you get that edge. All right. Well, first, my name is Andy. I'm the guy that answers the back office over here at KonaButterflyz. I answer all phone calls, text messages, emails, all that great stuff. But you're not here for me and my phone operating skills. You're here for Brandy. She's got her Series 6, 63, 26, 65, and her Series 7, which makes her more than qualified not to just fidget in her chair, but also to help you pass these exams, because that's what it's all about. Totally caught you. Man, ADD is real. I'm just saying. Guys, some of you, the most difficult part is just literally sitting in your chair for X amount of time and studying. Mm-hmm. One of the most difficult things that Brandy had to do was sit. It is.
No, it's absolutely
studying true. For this was, she'd rather go to the dentist. She'd rather go do the laundry. She'd rather do a million other things than go study, because the thought of having to sit in a chair at the table, at the desk, look through a book, do some quizzes while everybody else is doing stuff and everything else is going on outside, inside, wherever the heck she was at, was nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
It was flat out nerve-wracking. And some of you face that. Look, there's no rules on how to study necessarily. It doesn't have to always be at the kitchen table with a chair. It doesn't have to necessarily be at the office in the perfect office chair, in the perfect office lighting, with the perfect office ambiance music going on, with the perfect kids that are already in bed and go to bed when they're supposed to, so that way you can get your study at night. It just doesn't happen that way sometimes. It really doesn't. It's just the real part of it. Sometimes we don't even have a clean enough table, if we're going to be honest, because we've got, everybody comes in the house and we got to work, we got groceries, we got the kids' school stuff all over the place, we got papers that we don't even know how that spawned there, just mail, all this stuff, right, that comes in the door sometimes, and you don't even have a clean place to work, and you got to clean off the table first before you even get studying and all this stuff, right? Look, you can easily, and this is what Brandy used to do, especially after working all day or out and about all day, go pace the hallway, go pace around the apartment, go pace around the living room with the tablet or the book and read, go watch the video, do whatever you got to do, take some notes on your tablet, take some notes on, what she used to do is put paper on the counter, go pace around, do some laps while she's watching, studying, and then she passed that counter on lap 1 or 2 or 4. She'd jot a couple things down on the counter, notes there, and then just keep on walking. Go take some quizzes. You know what I mean? You can easily get your steps in. Go to the park. Go. You can do a lot of things with studying these days, even with videos, with streaming and all this other stuff. Like, everything's on the internet and everything has internet access. You could do a million things anywhere. So honestly, you could just get this done, and it just don't have to always do it in the most traditional sense. Now, the one thing I'll say that doesn't help you out at all is getting in your PJs at night, grabbing that book and going to the room and then thinking you're going to study, whether you're sitting or laying in your bed with your pajamas on, thinking you're going to study. You're not. You just put your brain to sleep. You just put on the uniform that says, I'm sleeping and I'm not studying. You put on your sleep uniform, and guess what's going to happen? You're going to go to sleep. I know it's the popular thing today to go into public with your PJs, go to work in your PJs, go to school in your PJs. I personally don't get it. I know I sound dated and old because, that's what the kids do today. They go everywhere in their pajamas, but you're going to work in a professional world where you can't necessarily do business in your pajamas. Why don't you just stay dressed in your office clothes until you're done studying? Why? Because you're still working. Technically, you're still at work. You're still working. You're working on your business. You're working on studying. Stay in work mode and then get into sleep mode when you had it all done. And then, so, quite frankly, some of you have it backwards. Maybe studying at night is not the best thing. Maybe you should be doing it the first thing in the morning. Get your stretching in, go get some study in, go for a run, come home, take a shower, go to work, or however which way it happens, whatever order. Mornings might be better for you. Mornings, turns out, is probably more likely and closer to when you're probably going to take the test because most people study or take their test in the morning, which leads me to the other tip for tonight and on studying. Before you take your exam, why don't you go take a full quiz at the time that you're going to schedule your exam at? So that way you can see if your brain actually turns on at that hour. Some of y'all don't even wake up until noon. I know you're up. I know you got yourself dressed. You may have brushed your teeth, hopefully, and had your cup of coffee, but your brain literally doesn't turn on until afternoon.
An 8 o'clock test would not be good for you.
An 8 a.m. test is not the best. A 9 a.m. test is not the best for you. A 10 a.m. test is not the best for you. A 2 p.m. test might be right in your
Wheelhouse.
wheelhouse.
So they say.
So they say. Brandy, on the other hand, she would lose her marbles if it was at 2 o'clock because all she did all morning and all night was obsess relentlessly on that pending hour of testing at 2 o'clock. She cannot do that at 2 o'clock. She had to take the earliest, most firstest test right when they opened up, and the people at the test center aren't even ready to like turn the computers on. That was Brandy. She was at the door, ready to go. Probably 20 ounces of Red Bull by then. Yes, I said 20 ounces. Amped up, like ready to go. I'm not even lying. I wish I was lying, but no, she wasn't. She's like over caffeinated and ready to rock.
You know, for some people, that might be considered excessive.
For her, it's just what she does.
An average every day.
She takes enough caffeine to power a small village, but she's used to that. I'm not kidding, but that might not be you. You have to find out what time is you. You know what time is you. Some of you know what time it is. It's not in the morning, then take it in the afternoon. If it's not, if you're one of those people that gets anxious, the longer and the more time you give you to get anxiety over it, probably take it earlier. Get it done over and early before your brain takes over and starts overthinking everything. If you're an overthinker, the worst thing you need to do is take it later because you just think yourself right out of the exam room.
True.
You really do. You think yourself out of it before you even get there. You're questioning every single thing that you've already studied. You're questioning even though if you even studied at all. Even though you did put in all the hours, you're just going to question that anyway. Mm-hmm. So really pay attention to who you are as a person and make that exam happen. And look, some of you haven't even thought of these things before, but that's just a small taste of what Brandy does in those live sessions. She talks about these things. She goes over those in the exam masteries. Like tomorrow, we're going to be having the SIE, right?
Yep.
What do we have tomorrow?
Risks and objectives?
No, I meant 63. What is the schedule for?
Oh, the SIE, the 65, the study hall, and the small group.
So tomorrow, that's what we got going on. So, but she talks about those things in those sessions, amongst other things like how to get, how to apply your content, how to look those test questions, the ones, the exam questions that you're stressing over, the exam questions that you're not seeing the connections from, even though you studied. How am I still getting this wrong? All that great stuff happens in those live sessions. So join up, and even in the all member sessions, like on Friday, she goes over study tips like I just did, but in more better and great detail on how to do it specifically. Like the other day, it was notes and how to take notes. We talk about notes, but nobody really knows how to take notes most of the time. They just feel like they need to write everything. If you're a write down everything note person, you're probably not doing note taking correctly. To be honest with you, there's a whole skill set to go along with note taking to really use them to your advantage. So that way you can use those notes to study from and not rewrite the book from verbal to written. A lot of time people do that. They stop listening to what's being taught and they're just focused on writing everything that's being said. If that makes sense to you, then you probably got to like figure out how to do note taking like we did. The replay is out. It went out this morning. So watch that note taking note. If you are a member on Patreon, it's already available and you can check that out, which is one of the other things you get with our membership. You get all the different replays that we have available, a great archive of lives and all this stuff. Check it out. As it says there, we got all kinds of stuff: small group tutoring, one-on-one tutoring, daily accountability, all available. Check out all the different options. We got books for sale: SIE 663, 26, 65. Kona community on the Discord where you can get help, post questions up, get into a study group. Eric's putting his thumbs up because they study before we even get on. Guys, check this thing out over there on the Discord. It's free to join. Scan the QR code, hit the links: 951-290-3077. Give me a call, give me a text, or hit me up on you can send me an email, hit me up, KonaButterflyz@gmail.com for those who love the email. And also check out our Kona Hall of Fame on the Instagram. Scan the QR code. As we talked about already, SIE 65's Kona Study Hall and the small group tutoring is happening tomorrow. So make sure that you're registered for the tutoring. If you are not, and we might have room, message me and I'll see if we can do. That is open for SIE 6, 63, 26, and sometimes a 65.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then SIE live tomorrow. Brandy, you said
Risks and objectives.
at 65? Not sure. We'll get back to you on that one, but be there.
It's securities and issuers is for the 65 and 63.
Series 63, be in the 65. Series 63, be in the 65. There you go. All right. Check out all those times. Make sure you check your local listings there for your time zone and be in those sessions. The actual Zoom code is the member one for this month, but you can also wait for the reminder that goes out in the morning an hour prior to the first class. So you get that reminder in the email. All right, everybody, let's get started. Ready to go? Workshop Wednesday?
Yes.
Wisdom Wednesday?
Yes. I like Workshop Wednesday, maybe.
It's better than Wino Wednesday. Does anybody say wino anymore? Or is it just like a thing of the past where we used to refer to people like hobos?
I think that's what that is.
Hobos who ride trains were winos.
Yeah. I don't think they do that anymore.
Ride trains or winos?
Both.
Oh. Yeah, they changed up the way those cars are now.
Yeah, I don't really see open ones anymore.
Yeah, if you're a wino, don't play with the rhinos.
Yeah, don't do that either.
Yeah. All right.
All right, guys. So today we're gonna do what we did last week and the week before. I have some, I guess you would consider them trivia questions. I don't know. Just some fun facts. And we're gonna use test taking techniques to answer them. You guys ready? Let's go. Let's go. I have coffee, soda, beer, and tea.
Yes.
So
beer's alcoholic. It's the only thing that's alcoholic.
B and C are 4. Coffee is the longest. Look, I like this. Okay, so that's 4 letters, right? That's 4 letters.
Yeah.
That's 4 letters. Coffee is the longest. Tea is
letters.
The shortest.
3 letters.
A, B, C, and then a vowel. You guys are going deep. Okay. I mean, sometimes we do get answers based on that. But
beer has alcohol.
This is alcohol. Coffee is fuel.
Don't blame it on the alcohol.
But in all seriousness, what fizzy? I look at what we've got going on, right? We've got coffee, soda, beer, tea. What would we
Tea is dirty water.
I could write that. That's me. A and D both have caffeine. I like that, right? They both have caffeine. So these could be something similar, right? Can everybody drink beer?
No.
Can that's like an age thing, maybe a preference thing. What about soda? Soda is like, right,
Soda pop.
right. Some of us adults feel like we need to drink coffee every day. Fun fact. You didn't even know this question was up and making fun of my coffee drinking. And then we have tea, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think out of all of these, tea's probably the most
Dirty water.
benign. I don't know.
Benign.
Benign. Look at the question. Question says, what is the most consumed beverage in the world after water?
Tea.
Most consumed in the world.
I'm gonna say tea. A lot of cultures drink tea.
Sometimes,
Tea and crumpets.
yes. A lot of times we might not know the theme,
Biscuits and tea.
right? We might not know the theme, we might not know where we're looking at until we get to that. And I was trying to get to somebody saying tea is what a lot of cultures drink, but you guys didn't catch it.
It's the most universal.
It's the most universal until we saw the question, right?
Right.
And that is in fact the answer.
Yeah, there's a lot of cultures that don't drink coffee. There's a lot of cultures that don't drink beer.
Right.
For religious reasons, whatnot, right?
Right.
And
but I think a lot of people drink tea.
I think the United States drinks the most soda pop.
That I think you are accurate in that statement. That would be the most consumed beverage in the United States, maybe.
I think so.
Yeah, this is the world.
I haven't done a research on that.
I
I haven't put my lab coat on.
All right, squirrel, bird,
Yes.
bat,
Yes.
sugar glider.
What?
I don't even know.
The sugar glider.
I don't even know.
What the what in the world is a sugar glider?
I have no idea.
That is something you see in a fever dream.
I don't even know.
It is 2 words.
It is 2 words. It's 2 words.
Sugar glider. That's my new band name.
But we could look at these 2 answers. I mean, we could look at these answers and see that B and B.
I feel like that's a hipster band. Go ahead.
The sugar glider. I could also look birds and bats both fly. Right?
Huh. Joanna says sugar glider equals an Australian marsupial. I don't know if that is true, but she could convince me that's a real animal.
You know, it's Joanna, so I'm
like,
I'm betting that it's probably true.
I had no idea.
Yeah. All right. So we could see the answer is probably bird or bat.
Okay.
Right? Because they both can fly and they both start with B.
Right.
Okay. Of all of these animals, which is known as the only mammal capable of true flight?
Wow. Mammal?
Thank you. Because most people would have gone with the flights and picked what? Bird, right? Bird. But sometimes you got to look out for that word right there.
Mammal.
I don't know if you guys know this, but birds are not mammals.
They are not mammals.
But bats are.
A lot of you probably didn't know that, but I've told it many times. It's a flying rat. Yes. Rats are mammals.
Yeah.
Disgusting
techniques
with mammals.
Yes.
Birds come out of an egg, hence not an animal.
It's
not a mammal. Sorry,
a mammal
or a hard shell egg, I should say, right?
Yes.
Or all those nerds are going to correct me. Well, technically.
All right. The Umbrella Academy.
Yes.
Stranger Things.
Yes.
Allison. Did I spell that wrong?
Borderline.
Borderline. I could have spelled.
I don't know what that is anyway.
I don't even know. Squid Game.
3 are Netflix shows.
Never heard of C. I don't think I've ever heard of C.
Never heard of C at all.
I probably spelled that wrong. It's Allison something. Okay, but these are all shows, right?
Sure.
I've heard of 2 of these.
I've heard of 3 of those.
You've heard of them. Well, I've heard of these 2, Stranger Things and
I have seen Umbrella Academy.
Oh.
And realized I'm just not apt to watch that.
Huh. All right. I don't have no idea what they're about. What popular Netflix show features a mysterious game with red and green lights? I mean, we could look at this and it says game.
Yes.
We could look at this and this says game.
That's all we need.
I'm going to go with that.
Even though if you've seen the show, yes, there is a red light, green light game.
Yeah. I'm on.
Don't move after it's red light. That's all I know.
Don't move.
Don't move.
Move. Don't move.
She will spot you.
Guys, sometimes it's that obvious. A lot of times when we're looking at our securities content or whatever, we get so caught up in what we think we don't know that we look beyond the simple, very simple.
Yeah, and if
way of
you
answering.
watch it, if you're on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, you will notice we answer securities questions that way.
Mhm.
Brandy will say, look no further. That one says registered, that says registered, connect the dots, let's go.
Right. Exactly. Strawberry,
Yes.
tomato,
Mm-hmm.
radish,
No.
apple.
Good.
They're all red.
Radish is in the dirt.
That is true.
So is strawberries.
That
Radish
is
is more of a root, though, isn't it?
I think it's a root. It's a root. Oh, you guys are going deep because some people don't consider tomatoes. What would you put in a fruit salad?
Tomato is a fruit.
I know. What would you put in a fruit salad? You wouldn't put a tomato in a fruit salad, though.
No,
You wouldn't put a radish in a fruit
I
salad.
would not.
We could probably put apples and strawberries, though.
Correct. Too sweet, too savory? I don't know.
Okay. Sweet, savory. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Which fruit? Oh, wait. Tomatoes are a fruit. Right?
Not a fruit.
Which fruit has its seeds on the outside?
Strawberry. Some people don't know that. Strawberries have seeds on the outside.
That's what those little things that get stuck in your teeth are.
Right.
Seeds. Apples got, if we're looking at fruit, tomato, since you guys are all going to catch me on the tomato thing, right?
Mhm.
Tomatoes and apples have their seeds on the inside.
Yes.
So it must be a strawberry.
Yep.
I know somebody's going to put.
Even if you didn't know that strawberries have seeds on the outside, all of you have had a tomato or an apple, I'm assuming, or at least seen a documentary on how an apple gets cut up in half, and you've seen that the seeds are in the middle.
Right.
Or a tomato.
Right.
I feel like if you don't like tomatoes, you already know that fact.
That's true. 106.
One is the loneliest number that.
There's one. B and C are backwards. Oops. Don't look at that answer.
Don't.
These are flipped, right?
Yes. There's 100 between 206 and 106.
Boom, boom. 06 and 06, right?
Yeah.
Boom. These are similar. Guys, this is what we would call the double dip.
One's a factor of one.
One is a factor of one, but B is the double dip.
Correct.
How many bones are there in the adult human body?
I know there's more than one.
There is more than one. So we can cross that off, right? Man, is it 100?
But this is a perfect example if you didn't know and it was like, maybe there's 602. No, maybe. But this is a double dipper right here.
I'm going with the double dip. I don't know.
Do you know why I know it's 206?
Why?
Watched Evil Knievel when I was a kid.
Yeah.
They talk about Evil Knievel and how he broke every bone in his body. There's 206 in him.
I remember there was 200 and something, but I remember it was a low 200 number, but I couldn't remember
Evil
exactly.
Knievel. He broke every bone in his body twice.
Oh yeah, and it's also the third one. This is the lowest. This is the highest. This is the third. So many technique right there.
By the way, he didn't break every bone in his body.
Just said
He broke a lot of them.
Is it like marketing?
Oh, of course. It's the 70s. It's the 80s.
Yeah. All right. Last one. 2007, 1987, 2027, 1907.
Right.
There's a lot going on right here.
Earthquake in 1907.
Maybe. I made these up so I can show you guys.
Diana said 2027 is the future.
That is the future. This is future. Hasn't happened yet, right?
1907 is the oldest.
It is the oldest.
The 80s were crazy.
Crazy. 2007, 1907. They both end in 07.
True.
Right? 27, it hasn't happened yet.
Right.
1987 was a few years ago. Right?
Almost 40.
Almost 40. Which year was the first iPhone released? Can't be future.
Not 1907.
Can't
Not
be
1927.
1987. That's when Apple was invented. Well, I think it was invented in 1984. I think that's when they went public.
Apple? No, Apple was public before that.
Yeah, didn't they go?
I have no
I
idea.
don't
It's
know, but
way
it was in
before
87. The iPhone was not created in 87. We didn't even have cell phones in 87.
No, we were just getting used to the car phone, which is an. Remember the boomerang antenna on the back of the trunk, or the
Yes,
the
that little,
antenna?
yeah. Oh yeah, on limos or something.
Limos. Yeah, big scene in Crocodile Dundee.
And in Wayne's World.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Do you guys see that? Like we just used our common sense, right? We used our like 07, 1907, right? We looked at this and we didn't. I don't know if anybody can just pull out of the air when the first iPhone was released, but we used what we had on the screen and was able to cross off the obvious answers that were not it. Again, process of elimination. Sometimes you guys don't know the right answer, but you can cross off what you know doesn't fit and get to the answer that way and learn something.
It was also the last time people read books. It was also the last time people were bored in the bathroom. No. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. It is a great night. I hope you learned something, a little bit of a background on these workshops, helps you out understanding the techniques and how we get there and how we use them. But also, I know we didn't do securities questions tonight, but I'm hoping the simplicity of these workshops help you look a different way at your quiz questions when you are looking at a complex question or what seemingly is a complex question. So that way you can get to the answer much easier. You can see the connections. You can see how you can make a connection without knowing necessarily anything. Anyways, all right, everybody, we'll be back for the Studying Brew tomorrow night. We are going to do securities questions tomorrow. It'll be content, it'll be techniques. It's going to be one for everybody because it is a series 6. So we're going to take 6 different questions, 6 different exams. It's going to be fun for everyone. Same bat time, same bat channel. We got live sessions in the day. Hope to see you there. All right, everybody, stay safe out there. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Don't touch your friend's face. That's all I know. And keep the positive mental attitude. PMA, everybody, have a great night.
Thank you guys so much for being on. We so super appreciate you. Practice these techniques in your quizzes, no matter what exam you're studying for. We will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great one.